Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be recovery from a relapse. In other words, the pain came back. Or in some cases, it spiked. So we'll kind of call a relapse and a spike the same thing because my suggestions are the same. Before I do that, let's take a couple of nice, deep, relaxing breaths. And you can check out the little man is over here sleeping, so we can watch him sleep as I take a couple of nice, refreshing, deep breaths. Relaxing the body first. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the noise and the static. Breathe in the calm. Exhale the fear. Breathe in the reassurance. Exhale the freak out. So, those couple of words there were a little bit of a hint as to how to recover from a relapse or a spike in your pain or symptoms. So, this was a request from somebody, and they actually asked me to have the title be, "Why is it so hard to recover from a relapse?" And I really didn't like that title, because I certainly don't want to paint the picture that it's so hard. But I get how people can get kind of caught up in that. So, in my opinion, as you experience an increase in pain after a reduction, or the pain comes back, I've heard this term a lot. Oh, the pain came back with a vengeance, right? So people are automatically painting the pain returning as this evil thing with a vengeance. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because trust me, I've had many ups and downs throughout my journey. Pain would get a little better, then it would come back hard. And then it would get a little better, then it would come back even harder. So I've been there, I've done that. I know exactly what you're talking about when you say with a vengeance. But first and foremost, drop that language. The brain is afraid of something, some perceived danger. And if you start saying with a vengeance and, oh my God, this pain is killing me, it's horrible, I can't stand it, I don't know how I'm going to make it through the day, all of that reaction to the symptoms or the extreme recurrence of pain is doing nothing more than scaring yourself silly as to how bad this is. So, and I'm not saying this is easy, but as much as possible, what you want to do is respond in a calm, relaxed, reassuring way. Now, I get it. The first thought is, oh my God, what did I do? And we start looking back at what did I do physically? How did I cause this? And inevitably, people get really caught up in saying, well, yesterday I was doing all this stuff, and today the pain came back with a vengeance. Well, that doesn't mean you injured yourself yesterday. Keep in mind, people, when was the last time you cut your finger in the kitchen and it didn't hurt at all, and then a day or two later it started hurting? When was the last time you smacked your finger with a hammer while doing a construction job or working on something, and it didn't hurt right away at all, but 2 days later it was killing you, right? Injuries don't work that way. If you fall down and smack your head, boom, the pain is immediate. So, if pain seemingly comes out of nowhere, meaning it happens the next day or 2 days later or hours later after activity or movement or whatever, it's almost always going to be TMS. It's very unlikely that you injured yourself and didn't notice it, and all of a sudden, a few hours later, a day or two later, here comes the pain. That's just not how it works. So recognize, first off, if pain's coming back, it's likely just TMS. And here's the point. If you got rid of it once, you can get rid of it again. As long as you try to get right back to the mindset that allowed you to get rid of it in the first place, or reduce the pain in the first place. So what happens is people start to get fairly well convinced in this TMS, mind-body perceived danger pain concept. They do a nice job of teaching their brain that I'm actually okay, I'm going to be okay, and things simmer down. And then something happens, not always your fault, you didn't do it, but something happens that the brain perceives danger and symptoms can spike or come back. And what happens? In many cases, I see a lot of freaking out. I see a lot of people go, oh my God, it's back. And then they completely lose it. They panic. They freak out. They start thinking, what happened? Did I do something physically? The answer is usually no. Again, pain is not a reliable indicator of the condition of the body. It is not a reliable indicator of injury or damage, but it is an extremely reliable indicator of your brain's perception of danger. All right, let me say that again. Pain is an extremely reliable indicator of your brain's perception of danger. In some cases, you smack your finger with a hammer, that's perceived danger. It's also real danger. Your brain's going, don't you dare do that again. Here's some pain to make sure you're much more careful. In the case of, me pulling my back out over and over and over again, it wasn't because I did anything dangerous. It was just because my brain was thinking that I was doing dangerous things, like bending over to pick up some paperwork off the desk or picking up a laundry basket to carry it downstairs. None of that stuff was dangerous. I was a reasonably fit, healthy 30-something to 40-something-year-old man that was perfectly capable of doing those things. So what do we do when pain comes back or you get a big spike? First rule is just remain calm. Call it out for what it is. Look at it and go, I know what's going on. And don't immediately jump to what did I do physically? How did I injure myself? How did I hurt myself? Ask yourself this question. What is my brain perceiving that's dangerous? Well, I did a workout yesterday. So how can the brain perceive that as dangerous? Because you may have even enjoyed that workout or that walk or the jog or whatever you did. So you might be thinking, how does the brain perceive that as dangerous? Well, again, I've mentioned this before. I'll keep on mentioning it because people forget. When you start to resume activity that you haven't done in a while, there is normal muscle fatigue and sometimes some normal muscle soreness that comes in a day or two after that exertion. It's normal exercise exertion fatigue, but a hypersensitive brain and nervous system is going to go, uh-oh, what's that? And all of a sudden, the danger signal turns on and boom, the pain comes back. The best thing you can do is call it out for what it is. Did you just do some workout yesterday? Oh, that's my brain amplifying the normal muscle fatigue and muscle pain from a workout and amplifying it to feel like, sound like, look like an injury. And the pain, if it's severe, that's all that's going on. People will be like, well, I started doing this and that, and, I've got a grade 2 hamstring tear, or I've got this going on in my hip or that. And inevitably, I will say, the pain that can come out of TMS is much more dramatic, much more intense than the pain that comes out of most injuries, right? TMS pain has floored me for 14 hours and many other shorter durations. I've had some injuries. I've fallen and broken my ribs or bruised them greatly at least 5 different times. For a period of time when my kid was growing up, I would go do some extreme stuff. Skateboarding, snowboarding, bicycle riding at a skateboard park, dirt bike riding, falls where my elbow slams into my ribs. And those were real physical blunt traumas to my body. None of them hurt as much as my back pain did with TMS. None of them. And granted, when I was with those bruised ribs, laying flat on my back and trying to breathe was painful. But that still didn't get to the level that TMS did. So that doesn't mean you're, afflicted with something that's horrible. No, you're not. Again, TMS is the best news ever. TMS means there's nothing wrong with you. We just have to remember that when the pain increases or comes back and go immediately to calling it out for exactly what it is. This is just a resurgence of TMS or perceived danger pain. If you can connect the dots to what the brain may have been reacting to as dangerous. Maybe you just returned to work, you made it through the day, but at night, your pain flared, whatever. Look for anything that your brain might have perceived as dangerous, stressful, uncomfortable, emotionally, mentally, physically. And if you can connect the dots, great. But if you can't, and you didn't fall off the roof and have a trauma to your body, then just assume it's just TMS acting up, not a big deal. And your goal is to immediately step into safety. Calm, reassurance, stay away from the freak out. There's no reason to freak out. You've been through this before, you'll get through it again. And the faster you get back to the mindset, the confidence, the clarity, the decision that this is just a mind-body thing in the first place, and so therefore that's all it is now. Even if a new symptom comes up somewhere else, it's very unlikely that your body's falling apart in multiple places. Very likely that it's just more TMS or perceived danger pain showing up due to this highly sensitive brain and nervous system. Because the brain, if it's in a highly vigilant state, it's going to perceive danger in many places. And most of that danger is imaginary. It's perceived, not real. So, if you got a relapse, don't convince yourself, oh my God, this is going to be horrible, I'm back to square one. No, you're not. The pain may be, but you can't forget what you've already learned through the rest of this journey. And so you're not going back to square one. You're still in the middle of the journey or towards the end of the journey, and you know how to kind of course correct and say, all right, I calmly reassure myself, I'm going to get to indifference if I can, but if the pain's severe enough, don't worry about indifference. Just go right to calm reassurance. Remind yourself exactly what's going on. Call it out. Hey, this is just TMS. Be very certain on that. And focus on safety. What can you do to be safe? I put out a video, 24 examples of consistent messages of safety. It's not just walking around the house going, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. Because if you're doing that while tensed up and nervous and scared, I'm safe, it's not authentic. The brain's not going to buy it. Your body language doesn't match the words. So use more words than I'm safe. Remind yourself this is just TMS. I've done the assessments. I know this is, just the mind-body thing, perceived danger. If I've had good days in the past, then that's proof that my body's perfectly fine. I had no physical trauma, therefore this is all just likely TMS or perceived danger pain. Use the logic and reason, and while you're doing that, relax your body and breathe. Because if you can get congruent between your thinking, logic, reason, reassurance, and your physical body relaxed and calm, guess what happens? The brain believes you when you say, I'm safe, I'm good, I got this, don't worry about this. And the more confidently and casually you can respond to the return or flare-up of symptoms or pain, the more your brain's going to go, oh, I guess this isn't a big deal. So choose calm, choose reassurance, choose confidence, choose clarity and decision that this is what's going on. The sooner you do that, the sooner you're either increased symptoms or returning symptoms, the sooner the intensity will dial down and the sooner the symptoms in general will dissipate and leave. So try not to convince yourself that, when the pain, comes back, it's super hard to get rid of it. The reason it gets hard is because you're freaking the heck out and you're scaring yourself silly by second guessing, the cause of it in the first place. Again, if you didn't get hit by a car or fall off the roof, nothing new happened physically. The fact that pain increased is not an indicator that you injured yourself. It's an indicator that your brain is not quite out of this hypervigilance and it's perceiving some danger somewhere in some aspect of your life. If you can find it, great. If you can't, don't sweat it. Get right to calm, reassuring safety. And if your thoughts are going a little bit wild with the what if, oh my God, what did I do? I hurt myself. You don't have to believe those thoughts. You can literally say to yourself, shh, I'm not going to believe that. That's not true, nor is it helpful. So I'm not going to buy into that fearful lizard brain, overprotective, hypervigilant brain. I'm not going to buy into that. I don't have to listen to it. I don't have to ruminate on it. I can quickly reassure myself that I'm going to be okay. In my opinion, that's the best way and fastest way, to handle a recurrence of symptoms or even a spike of symptoms. Let's say you're at a baseline, 5 out of 10, and all of a sudden it jumps to an 8. It can be scary, I get it. But the faster you can just get back to a level of confidence, clarity, certainty, calming reassurance, indifference, if you can get there, wonderful. That's how we do it. That's the best way to respond to a recurrence or a spike in pain. If you freak out, you're basically increasing the intensity and the duration by going right back into doubt and uncertainty. If you've previously concluded you had TMS or this mind-body pain, don't second guess it. I mean, if you were in a car accident and you're hurting, sure. But inevitably you didn't. Inevitably you're sitting on the couch or you ran the vacuum a little bit. Those things are not traumatic to the body. Your body may not be used to doing those things, and you may have a little bit of fatigue afterwards, to which your brain will go, uh-oh, what'd you do? But that's all that's happening. You can quickly go, shh, I just vacuumed. Nothing bad happened. I didn't fall down the stairs. So, love you guys and gals. Going to wrap this one up. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.